Record on this computer.
What's up, everybody? It's me, your friend Aaron, here with my co-host Jason, producer extraordinaire. I guess he does all the technical nonsense. I'm just here to talk. Uh, Thank you for joining us. Wow, crazy week, Jason. What do you think?
The week was crazy. I think that the Miami Dolphin talk's probably going to be pretty hot. I don't know how if you. I'm looking forward to. We haven't talked. We don't do any notes beforehand. We don't know what
Yeah,
each of us is going to bring. But I will
fresh.
not mention a musical artist that was in Kansas City. But I'm looking forward to perhaps. I was really hoping you might have a song for us. But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Wow, I wish I could just pause life right now and go write a song real quick.
You ready to hit that share screen?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about last week.
Okay, fantastic. First game up.
Yeah. Boy, Josh defeats Chris 108-88. Josh just sort of wipes the floor with Chris. At 3-0, he's wiped the whole division.
Yeah.
Despite the loss of Chubb, Josh has got to be thrilled with the start the Ghosts are off to. Like when Josh traded for Tua, this performance by the Dolphins on Sunday, this was like what he was envisioning in his wettest dreams. Like 70 points. Like I'm still not a believer in Rashad White, but the Eagles' defense seems legit, so I'm not going to ding him too much for just the 42 yards. Really tough for Chris to lose his best receiver, Mike Williams, with a torn ACL.
Ah,
Got some decent depth. I like Dobbs. Maybe Myers can fill in. I don't know when Deontay Johnson's ever coming back. When Dallas was losing at halftime, it looked like a classic, like 30-point Dak second half, where he's just chucking it, chucking it, chucking it. That's the kind of game Chris needed, and it just wasn't there.
I thought he had it, but I mean, we've had two main fantasy players lost for the season, both on Chris's team, and
Yeah.
then with Dobbins and now Williams, and then we've had the other main injuries, Deontay Johnson, all three players on Chris's team. It is,
Cursed.
it
Yeah.
is. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And then you talking about the crazy week, 70 points, but you're right. That Arizona game, they kind of blew out Dallas. Like,
Yeah.
so we'll get to survivor picks later, but I'm surprised someone didn't have Dallas for a survivor pick because I
Yeah, I was
almost
sure.
picked Dallas.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
know that some survivor games were ruined. I mean, I think Mahoney's done the best job putting together a team and has had for that he's done in maybe 10 years. And
Yeah, yeah,
he's had the
yeah.
worst luck.
He just keeps getting kicked in the balls.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah,
So I
it's
feel
tough.
for him. Yeah.
It's tough. This next game, talking about tough. Victor was cooking sardines behind me, and the stink of the sardines like perfectly, yeah, perfectly accompanies the stink that permeates the 2023 Cobras.
Oh.
Um, you know, Jeff was vulnerable too. Like outside of the scariest of all players, Patrick Mahomes. Like Jeff does not have a lot to be afraid of with Eckler out. Like none of his running backs are keeping you up at night.
Yeah.
Uh, he benched his scariest receiver. Thank you. But Sam Laporta, you can go to hell.
Oh,
Laporta is what I dreamed of when I drafted Kincaid. I was like,
yeah.
oh, this is what I've got. Well, it's what Jeff has.
Laporta looks amazing. And if we were to redo the draft right now after 3 weeks, it would
Yeah.
be so crazy because the top wide receivers are being outgained by these receivers like Puka and Dell, who are just they'd be drafted like 4 or 5, and
Yeah.
Quentin
Yeah.
Johnston wouldn't even get drafted. Like it would be an amazing redraft, and Laporta would be a top 5 pick. I mean, guy looks amazing.
He's
Hey,
like seamlessly just
you've
head
had
right
a
in.
you've had a tough week, and I do mean to pile on here in the next few slides, but I wanted to see, did you happen to get the card I left for you at your house yesterday?
I didn't know.
Okay, well, if you would go check your front porch, I left a card for you, a sympathy card for your third loss on your front porch on that chair. I went by your house yesterday and dropped off a gift there. So if you could go get that gift card, I'll take the league through a few slides while you're gone.
You bastard.
Hey, K League, while Aaron's gone, let's go through a few slides here that I prepared with him out of the room. Okay, we're on the 2023 Cobra Kai Skill Player Touchdown Watch, and this year it's still at 0. Not one touchdown from any of his players, running back, wide receiver, or tight end. And if you want to look at this slide, this is a trade that happened on Friday, September 1st, 6:18 p.m. Central Time. The Cobras traded away Devin Achane, and this is what it looks like in the wake of the trade for Aaron. So this is the trade in the wake that happened in that trade. And my last comment as Aaron looks at his card is that Mostert and Achane had 375 total yards and 8 touchdowns. My question for the league is, will over the course of the season, Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall match what Mostert and Achane did in one game? So I'm going to be tracking this. I'm going to have a yardage tracker and a touchdown tracker. Will Breece Hall and Achane over the course of 18 games match what Mostert and Achane did in this one game? And so we'll be tracking that over the rest of the season. Aaron, did you get the card I left on the front porch?
I don't have to do this show. Like this is like a gift to the people. Like I do not have to be subjected to this kind of just mistreatment. I'm already down, and
I know. We should
on.
Don't read the card. It's too personal. But did you get any gifts? Did you get any gifts?
Yeah, there's a lot of cards here. There's a Minute Bowl, which is very funny. Somehow you have a Mel Kiper Jr. card. How does Matthew Berry even have a card?
I don't know. I don't know how Matthew Berry has a trading card, but I thought you might need the help from Kiper or Berry. So I don't
it's too late.
I don't mean it's too late. It's too late. No, you got to feel good about Burrow and Chase last night on Monday Night Football. The second game, you had to feel good with those 14 receptions. You had to feel like you're going to break through to get that special team, to get that skill player touchdown for the season. You got to feel like
somewhere.
You got to feel better.
Maybe week 4.
Week 4. Okay. Well, let's continue on with the recap. Let's go back to our share screen. Get a chance to as we get a chance to continue. Let's play from current slide, and let's go with this.
And then I get to have a recap of my nightmares. This is great.
How about Shane beating Jay this week?
Yeah, boy, tough week for the Vipers. That looks like a Cobra box score, frankly, with all the 2s in there. Jay needed a big night from the Bengals, and they weren't up for it. They did look better, as you just talked about. Like there was at least a glimmer of hope. Like, oh, maybe they're gonna figure this out. Like going into the game, I was like, oh, just sit, don't even play Joe Burrow, just rest it. But as the game went on, I thought, oh well, maybe maybe just gonna work through this. So, and Jay needs that too. With he's really relying on the Bengals just as much. Solid, sturdy week for Shane. Got a dud from Dawson Knox and Devonta Smith. Those, that's a floor game for him. But boy, everybody else was just getting it on. Jay gets a slight edge at quarterback. Not easy to do against Josh Allen, but boy, Shane won big just every other position. Yeah. Did you notice the scores of the last 2 games are almost identical?
Yeah, I did. I can go back and look at that. You might end up seeing some slides here though that you shouldn't see, but we'll just
we don't have to.
Yeah,
we don't have to recap that. Yeah, basically both games 97-77.
Yeah, I did notice that. It just did look very similar. And one thing I noticed for a couple games where if Jeff would have played Shane, then I would have played Carr, those games would have been some of the most just huge barn burners. So you'll see here that the Rhinos had 97.3 and 97.4. So Shane would have won by a yard. And so I was disappointed that they didn't play one another. That would have been a pretty fun breakdown. Yeah. Next game up, we've got the Karate Kid defeating Brandon Whiteside. You probably don't want to talk too much about this game either. And that's okay.
Yeah, great. Let's talk about your awesome team. Herbert looks like so dialed in. He's playing perfectly. Kenneth Walker just racking up the points. Really, nothing really notable going on with your tight end. It was really a pretty forgettable day for him. I don't have a song for you. I'm sorry.
My only comment about poor Brandon's team is that the guy's got to root for the Carolina Panthers. Lifelong Carolina Panther. and he's
Yeah.
tied his fantasy fortunes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he's got so much into Jacksonville. Like, I can't imagine a team that I would want to root for less than, except for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, the Bears are awful. Obviously, the Broncos are terrible, but like, to have to like always have the Jacksonville Jaguars on my TV, like that would just be a bummer. And like, so he's got Carolina and Jacksonville. He's got like the South football teams you don't really want to root for, like really racked up. Like, the difference between like having Miami and Kansas City. Like, I feel for him because he's got a super, real big Cleveland. He's big into Cleveland, Jacksonville, and Carolina. Brandon, man, it's just a bummer. So I wouldn't have to talk much more about this game. Karate Kid's feeling good at 3-0.
It does seem pretty clear that Carolina made the wrong choice at quarterback in the draft too. Like, I mean, Bryce Young maybe ends up being the right choice also, but for now, CJ Stroud's like definitely the right choice. So Brandon's got to deal with all that. He's got to process all that, and then your dumb team has to come in here and kick him in the butt while he's already reeling. Like,
I know.
it's always a bummer too because he got a good game from his stars. You know, he got the games like McCaffrey and Tyreek. They showed up. And then like those points are just wasted. So, I hope you feel good about yourself.
2 zeros and a 2 just is not going to get it done. And I feel for him. So no one wants any pity. So let's continue on with the high score of the week and high score of the year. The 40-point Buffalo Bills, Jeremy Carr, sending the Pharisees to 0-3. What do you think?
That rough start for the Pharisees. They're scoring points like every week, and their points against are brutal. John's opponents in weekly scoring, they finished first, second, and first. And the only week that he didn't face the number one score of the week was when you finished 1 point behind Jay. So he was 1 point away from facing the most possible points all 3 weeks. So, I mean, it's a pretty pedestrian day for John, except for Debo and Lamar. But that score he's better than his record. I guess is what I guess I should
for
say.
Sure. For absolutely.
Jeremy was just having none of it. Like specifically, the Bills' defense was having none of it. Like a 40-point defense, like that's the kind of defense you keep. There can't be too many of those, like ever. Keenan Allen's stat line is ridiculous too. Like he's got the 215 yards, but then he threw a touchdown, which I guess you didn't enjoy because less for your thrower.
It was fine. I'm not disappointed at all. I didn't finish at the high point score of the week by 5 points. I'm not keeping track of how many weekly wins I have. It's not a big deal. I do feel like
such a long season.
John, Chad's been talking about wanting to be in the Caleb Williams lottery, but I mean, that's looking like John, but Josh maybe, because the Hellhounds are also we'll get to the Hellhounds in a minute, but like Josh has his pick and the Hellhounds pick in the first round, second round, third round next year, and Tua, and has a shot at Caleb significantly. But yeah, John, I mean, I would love to go back and look at, I know in the NFL, it's difficult to go. I think one team has gone 0-3 and made the playoffs in the modern era. I'd be interested to see the RT stats on that. It's got to be more than that because there's teams that can run off 6 wins quickly. So
much easier in our league.
I would not be surprised if John were able to make a run at the playoffs. I'll just say that.
Let's see.
Okay. This was what you called, I think, the game of the week.
I think it was. Boy, Chad and Mendenhall. Man, tough break for John. Like, he's 0-2, and then he scores 122 points, and he's got this 20-point running back on his bench, and he's got this 47-point running back on his bench. Like, it's just brutal. Like, I mean, it's great to have guys capable of those big scores. Like, you're happy that they're yours, but man, John's got a lot of talented looking dudes. Like, is this going to be finally his return to glory, or are we just waiting to see how he steps on the rake and hits himself in the face again?
I can't believe his team is 0-3. This is the thing about fantasy football. When you're doing great, you got a big smile on your face. Like, this is a great game, lots of strategy involved. But if you score 122 points, or like John is continuing to score good points, and you play someone who scores more than you, you're like, this is the dumbest game in the world. It's all luck. It's just straight matchups, and it's too much. You can just go through your day like, this doesn't matter at all. Why do I spend so much of my time? It is ridiculous that we spend that much time on this. But you know what? When you're 3-0, it feels great. So we can keep going. So
Yeah, well, no, we got to talk about Chad a little bit because I mean he
oh
brought a sledgehammer. Your number one player in all of Sooner Nation through 3 weeks, the Rowdy Romper signal caller and fashion paragon, Kirk Cousins. He's been the man. So we can't let that slide. And of course, just Chad's magical duo of wide receivers,
amazing.
just wrecking dudes.
Yeah.
He's a handful.
Yeah. I also want, there were some rumors. Wouldn't it be amazing if Kirk Cousins got traded to the Jets now that Minnesota, like the Hellhounds and the Pharisees, have gone 0-3. And I think Kirk Cousins has 1 year left on his contract. So if they're going to get anything for him, I think that they might trade him. That would just shake the foundations of Justin Jefferson, of Kirk Cousins, of the Jets' fortunes. Like, wouldn't that be amazing if the Jets actually got a veteran quarterback in there? We'll see when we watch this video in years to come, if Kirk Cousins, if trade happened.
The archivists are going to have a real delight with that conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Picks contest.
Little breakdown of the picks contest. We've got the Pharisees and the Cobras at the top, and Karate Kid, Ghosts, and Rompers just a few games behind. And the Rhinos, I believe, have picked every game and somehow are under 500. So best of luck to Jeff. I'll have you talk about the Survivor contest.
We lost one survivor this week. Chad's allegiance to the Vikings cost him as they fell to 0-3. 5 teams remain. Getting tough now. I guess I don't know. I mean, I thought it was awesome looking at the future weeks. You have the Bears lose by seemingly 70 points, while Miami scores 70 points against Denver, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to choose who am I going to choose to beat the Bears, or who am I going to choose, to beat Denver. And then of course I look to be able to see it's the game of the week in the NFL, Bears Broncos. I mean, what a delight. Yeah.
That's going to be an amazing game. I'm actually thinking it'd be pretty awesome to watch a game like that. So, and we have a little update of our best ball league. We have 2 0-3 teams. Somehow, my pastor and yours, Jonathan Carl Mindorf, 0-3 in both leagues, with Lydell Carr and Jay. And if I'm looking at this right, Team Jason at 3-0 and Team Smitty at 3-0 are the only 2 teams that are undefeated in the best ball league.
Well, and you've got the most victory points by far. You've got way ahead. Not to toot your, you don't need it, but there you go. You're way ahead.
Well, let's toot somebody else's horn here, because the high point getter for the week was Cowherd. And look at this lineup. I don't know if anybody else is watching the best ball league, but I find it kind of fascinating and pretty. I'm glad Jay. I'm sorry. I'm glad that Josh had that 2-month-long draft, because that I want to do it every year. I thought it's been really fun to be able to kind of follow and just have those people kind of rise to the top for this year-long contest. It's been fun. So thanks to Josh for the league. Now we get a chance to look for the week 4 preview. Take it away as we have the first matchup.
But I think Dak's going to be in for a long day versus the Patriots. I think Jay crushes this quarterback matchup. Like they've got Zeke Elliott there over in New England, and he's just like, hey, Dak doesn't like it if you do this. He doesn't like it if you do that. And who's better at that than Bill Belichick? Like, this is going to be a bad day, I think, for Prescott. Running backs could go either way. Like, Jay's backs could come up big, but boy, those are tough matchups for both those dudes. I do like they're playing each other, Jay's guys. Slight edge for Chris here. Jay comes out ahead. Hawkinson is the number 1 tight end in our league right now. So, don't get in that dude's way. And I think Dallas's defense, they got embarrassed, so they're going to come out hard. Taking Jay.
Okay. I also think Jay's team, I kind of always like Jay's team. But I thought it was interesting that the Cowboys defense only scored 2 points, I think, last week. And the Jets scored 0 points against Mac Jones and the New England Patriots. I found that to be very interesting. I don't know how big of a deal it is to lose someone like Diggs in the secondary. I don't know if it's just Dallas having people like there's no way we're going to lose to Arizona and just going in and just sort of like feeling like they can't win. You think Dak's going to struggle? I think Dallas is really good, and I think New England is really bad. I just don't believe somehow. I just don't think that team's very good. So I think it's going to be a really close game, but I'm going to also take Jay for the win as well. So we'll continue here for this 1-2 matchup versus the 0-3 Hellhounds.
Yeah, well, we know the Cobra is a cold-blooded creature. We're just a little hibernating. Week 4, let's end the hibernation. Let's wake the heck up. I don't know if this is the week for Burrow, though, because Tennessee is no joke. Yeah. He still kind of looks not quite. Purdy has been my best quarterback through 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He's got the Cardinals, but I don't know. I kind of like Geno versus the Giants. We'll see. We'll see what kind of whim I'm in. It's all pointless, though, so long as the rest of my team just is not scoring at all. It doesn't matter. John's probably going to beat me at every position. He's rolling out 3 Dolphins, which is kind of scary after last week. I just have to hope he's like chasing points that are never going to be there again. But man, the Dolphins just look like a Madden offense at this point, like not something you can do in real life. So I mean, John's going to win.
Well, I'm also going to take the Hellhounds to go no longer be one of the 2 only teams without a win. That's got to be terrifying to look across the matchup there and to see Mostert, Achane, and Waddle. It's just got to be terrifying right now. I mean, Tua in that offense. I put this on a text. I'm not sure if everybody got it, but the way that the coach for Miami was not given a chance to interview for Denver, and then when Denver comes to town, he puts 70 on him. I saw some pictures of him when he was the ball boy for Denver that have been on social media. Just amazing. I'm really looking forward to. This is not the game of the week in RT Sports, but the game of the week in the NFL, I think, is that Miami Buffalo game. Buffalo looked awesome. Miami looks great. It's in Buffalo. Yeah. I'm just really excited to watch that game on Sunday at noon. I don't know who you're starting, but this has a lot of Sunday night activity and Sunday morning activity. You'll see you've got a Monday night, a Sunday night, and then he's got a Sunday morning early, 8:30. He's got a Sunday Thursday at noon. He's got a Thursday night and a Sunday night. So this is one of those great games where you're just like, I've got action 5 days in a row, and I'm looking forward to this matchup. Although it's not the game of the week, I do think it's something to keep an eye on.
Prolonged agony.
Yeah.
Okay, defending champ versus the poser from the Valley. This is a fun one. Quarterback matchup is Herbert's been lights out. Mahomes is Mahomes. Your defenses, kickers, tight ends, those are all like juicy battles right now. Laporta versus Kelsey, the running back I think is going to be the difference, and unfortunately it's Smith.
I hate agreeing with you so much.
Yeah, and you've got the unique advantage with Kelsey kind of countering out Mahomes. It's tough. I'll be rooting for Jeff, of course, but I just don't see it. I think you got him.
Without Eckler in, Eckler's absence has just vaulted Herbert into such a point scorer because Eckler would just absolutely vulture all of those TDs inside the 5, and now they're just letting him throw those passes. I'm really interested to see how Herbert will do without Williams. But yeah, I will take myself in the victory here. Although it's never great to try to play against Patrick Mahomes. I do love that he's got a Sunday night game for the quarterback.
Prime time.
I just love the evening games so much. And I actually looked ahead week 6 when you and I are playing one another and looked at that schedule. And I saw that Buffalo, Kansas City, Dallas, and the Chargers are all playing a Thursday night, Sunday night, or Monday night game. And I wanted to see if you and the family wanted to come over for Monday night on that October 16th to be able to watch Monday Night Football, Justin Herbert versus the Cowboys. What a game on Monday night, the week we play one another with both Herbert and Pollard, if they stay healthy. Pizza's on me. Bring the whole family. Love to have you.
Wow. What I think I'm flying in from Vegas that day.
Oh, whoa.
But let's
Vegas
see.
weekend. Okay. Okay. That's way getting too far ahead. But
Yeah.
I just love the evening games so much, especially when
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
writing on multiple games. Okay, a couple more games to look through.
Oh goodness. I really wanted to go John here. I feel like statistically he's due to get a dud game from an opponent. We've discussed how his opponents have always been the top ones, but does not look like it's this week. I do not like Lamar Jackson having to play Cleveland. They are scary. On the other side, the Vikings are going to take out their 0-3 frustrations on the Panthers. I like John at running back, but I think Chad takes him at every other position. The receivers are just way too much. The tight end, Chad's going to be too much for John. I see 0-4.
My goodness. I don't think I've ever picked Chad to win, but I also don't think that it would be wise to pick John to win a game until he wins a game. Chad looks really good.
Yeah.
I mean, having to go against Justin Jefferson and Devante, the only way I think that Chad loses is if somehow Kirk Cousins get traded to the Jets, and it sends their whole franchise into a tizzy, and they just are like, they can't even imagine what it would be like. But I think he picked up. I think that Corinne Williams, he's got another tough opponent this week, but man, I think he looks pretty good. I think he was kind of going to be I think he's going to be a really good back. And I think Robinson looks good when he runs. I just think Chad's team's getting better as the season goes on. And I don't think we've had a pick that's been different. So this has been very strange. This is usually different than this, but let's keep going. Got a couple more games.
Oh boy, Shane and Brandon. There's some bad blood in this one. I mean, these two teams despise one another. I hope they can settle this on the field and squash the beef once and for all. Like maybe you and I can mediate something here, Jason, because come on, guys. Let's settle this week. What a game. This looks like a good one. Like I like Josh Allen to outscore Lawrence. I feel like Buffalo's going to need a lot of points to keep up with the Dolphins. McCaffrey, he may outscore DeAndre Swift and Miles Sanders combined. I don't understand the DeAndre Swift thing. I don't know. I guess it's going to keep happening. I guess it helps is he got the best run blockers in the league, but I don't know. Tyreek is phenomenal, but I think Shane's wide receivers as a group are better than Brandon. So I'm going to take Shane in a wild one.
Okay, we got to have something different. So I'll say that Tyreek is upset that his teammates scored way more touchdowns than he did last week, and it's just a Tyreek Hill game. As they maybe try to focus on stopping the run and just can't stop Tyreek. I don't know. I don't think Atlanta's very good. And so, I mean, I don't want to be rooting for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I think that the Sweat Sox have a more elite team, but I think Brandon is going to play a really good game. I think McCaffrey and Hill, those guys are so good. They're just such elite players. It's hard to look at those blue chippers and try to root against and want to root against them. So I'll take Brandon in a very close match. I think this may be close to the game of the week, but we're getting to the game of the week. A new sponsor this week. I want to say thanks, of course, to the two sponsors. Of course, Crystal's Pizza and Nino's. This week we're sponsored by the old I-40 Crosstown downtown Oklahoma City. I just wanted to say thanks for them reaching out to me to sponsor the segment. Just a huge game of the week. I know many of you have many fond memories of the rickety, rackety I-40 Crosstown in Oklahoma City. That thing was just any memories of the I-40 Crosstown, Aaron?
I feel like I can smell the meth from here. Just, oh, look at that Wonderland.
Again, thanks for ODOT for reaching out to sponsor this segment. Can't believe that they found out about the show. Maybe that mystery viewer, but great memories on the old I-40 Crosstown. Thanks for sponsoring the game of the week, and I look forward to seeing who's next. I have got to say the email inbox has been flooded with people wanting to sponsor the segment, so keep them coming. Text box, the email box. Can't wait to see who sponsors next week, and give us the rundown of the game of the week.
Oof. All right. I like Josh here, but I was amazed at how much thought I had to give Jeremy taking it. Carr has been off to just a great start.
Yeah, yes.
The receiving matchup here to me is the most interesting. Like, can the Patriots shut down CeeDee Lamb? Christian Gonzalez or Bill Belichick coming together? Like, I don't know, but Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, and Puka, like that is a solid squad. Like,
That is.
look out for those guys. I like Carr to win the tight end battle. Don't really like any of the running backs on either side, but give me a close win for Weiss.
Oh, okay. I can't root or cheer for Deshaun Watson. Uh, it's just I can't. I don't feel good about it at all. I do love his team. I think that if he had a different quarterback, he would be. And I think Josh goes to 4-0 this week. I think he's deep and he's good. I love Tua even against Buffalo. It's going to be there's some great matchups this week. Bears,
Yeah.
Broncos, Dolphins, Bills, such great games, and I'm looking forward to this. But I think Josh, I'm going to just keep sticking with Josh until he loses, probably.
Wow, yeah, pretty. I guess I mean most likely we're wrong, and like we're not both right on all the games. Like if
Right.
I'll probably win, Jeremy. Like they'll all win now. That's how it works.
I don't
There's
know.
no way we're
I
both
don't know how
right.
that works. I did
Yeah,
used to think that there were things that I could control
yeah.
uh in those moments. Last week we ended with a little Neon Dion talk. Did you get a chance to watch the Oregon Colorado game?
I think they were on bye this week.
Oh,
They took a week off. Had to polish the Rolls Royce and stuff, and next week they're going to play again.
okay.
Yeah.
Josh was at the game and said that the energy before the game was the most energy and excitement he's felt as a season ticket holder for the University of Oregon Ducks.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, everybody knows how racist they are up there. It tracks.
yes, it does. I think that I'm going to my first OU game in, I don't know, dozen years on Saturday night versus Iowa State. My daughter has not been to an OU football game, and I promised her this year I'd take her to
Yeah,
a game, and so I'm going to
that's
reach
awesome.
out, see if I can take her to a game. And Toby's trying to see if he can get us up in the booth for a little bit before the game and just try to experience a little. Any tips for a first time OU football game watcher? Is there anything that we need to do before, after the game, or any traditions we need to know about?
No, I don't think so. I wish I had something canned for you. I should have had a good line ready. No.
Okay. Okay. Hey, thanks for the time and prep for the show. I hope people like graphics. I enjoyed doing this. It just has been great. If I were 0-3, I think that I'd be less chipper. But I will say, as I was talking and thinking and praying, 1-2, you're only one win away from being 500 and just right absolutely in the mix. So
I mean,
yeah, I
you
feel
only
better.
need 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's
Yeah,
exactly right. In this league, if you get to 7, there's a chance you're going to make the playoffs. So,
yeah.
and then anything can happen. So,
Here we go, baby.
I hope you have a good week ahead, but worst of luck to the Cobras.
Yeah. See you, buddy.
See ya.